So I was real honored when Nikki asked me to come speak for everybody. So she told me who I was going to be on with, who was going to be up here with me. So one of the things I did was work on my rap, try to put this in rap form, and my rap game wasn't too bad. So I said, well, let me try to dance. I heard there's going to be some tap dancers here, so let me try to do that. Worked on that, she came out looking like Carl from Fresh Prince. I didn't want to do that. So you guys just stuck with the information. Hopefully that motivates you enough tonight. That creates curiosity. You want to go out and do research on your own. The first thing I want to do is we're Brothas Buildin. My name is Calhoun. My brother Taryll Calhoun. We started Brothas Buildin as a community organization about 2 years ago. And what we wanted to do was share information with the community that we saw was deficient, that our community wasn't getting. They weren't getting home, as food, community organizations. So this is what we did, and this is why we're here tonight, sharing some of that information with you. In the talk, what we want to do is explain first who and what is black. Black. Black, this is from dictionary.com. Now, just like in the Malcolm X movie, you know, when they go in the dictionary and Malcolm and the president is in prison, they look in the dictionary, we have all these negative adjectives to describe what black is. Soil, gloomy, pessimistic, harmful, hostile. The one that we're looking at tonight is number 2. Okay? Pertaining to or belonging to any various to any of the various populations characterized by dark skin pigmentation, specifically from Africa, Oceania, or Australia, or African Americans. So this is what black is. History. What is history? So this one here, as African Americans, we want to embrace that we are from Africa. We don't want to run away from that. It says here, this is a quote by Renova Rashid, we are African people. Get comfortable with it and learn to love your African self. Now, when you go into fill out applications somewhere, when the Chinese or the Asian person goes in, they don't write down yellow on the paper. When a Native American goes in, they don't write down red on the paper. One of our Samoan or Filipino brothers and sisters, they don't write down brown on the paper. So we should get comfortable being who we are, because whether we came 400 years ago on a boat, forcibly, or whether we came 400 days ago because we saw this as a new opportunity, we should embrace being African. Okay? History. So history is a branch of knowledge that records and explains past events. So this is what we're going to be studying, not just history from here in the United States, because we established black, this dark skin pigmentation people from Africa, so we're going to go back that far. Okay? The omission of black history. So we see on this diagram here, from all these, or in Africa, all of these continents and civilizations were founded and started. Okay? Next. But we don't know that because it hasn't been taught to us. Slavery necessitated the removal of black people from history because it was hard to justify what they were doing to us and admit of all the contributions that we made to civilization. The black race comes from Africa. Our history starts before slavery. If our history just started with slavery, then we don't have very much to be proud of, and there's nothing for us, we wouldn't know what our contributions were to society and how important we were to society. Calhoun, or Constantine Calhoun, a French nobleman, philosopher, and historian, archaeologist, quoted in his book, Ruins of the Empire, just think that this race of black men today, our slave, and the object of our scorn, is the very race to which we owe our sciences, our arts, and even the use of speech. Just imagine, finally, that this is the midst of the people who call themselves the greatest friends of liberty and humanity, that one has approved the most barbarous slavery and questioned whether black men had the same kind of intelligence as whites. He's talking about the founding fathers and the people who founded the nation, who had us in slavery and helped us to develop this country. Now, we're going to go into the origins of black history. Origins of black history. Black history was started in 1926 by Carter G. Woodson, and it was founded as Negro History Week. The month of February was selected in deference to Frederick Douglass and Abraham Lincoln, who were both born in this month. In 1976, the 50th anniversary of Negro History Week in the bicentennial of the United States, it was changed to Black History Month, and it's been celebrated as that ever since around the country. Why is Black history important? I chose two people want to share them with you tonight to explain why Black history is important, not only to the African American or African race, but also to other people, other races as well. The first one is Dr. Umar Abdullah Johnson, who is a school clinical psychologist from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And what he does is when they determine that a child has a learning disability or for special ed, he comes in and evaluates that child, gives that child a test to determine whether or not he just has something that's easily fixed or he has to go around that leg when he's placed into special ed, he has a learning disability. So his quote is, and this is from the movie Hidden Colors, the documentary Hidden Colors. As an African American, Black person, our self-esteem, self-image, and self-concept not only come from our family history, but also our racial history. 50% of how high or how low of that is based on positive information that we know or do not know about our racial history. Now, what stood out to me about this is not the negative stereotypes, the names, and the things that were done bad to us, but the lack of positive information that we didn't receive is 50% responsible for the low self-esteem, self-image, and self-concepts that we have of ourselves. The next one is from my brother Malcolm, in his statement. When you deal with the past, you're dealing with history. You're dealing actually with the origin of the thing. When you know the origin, you know the cause. It's impossible for you and me to have a balanced mind in this society without going into the past. Because in this particular society, as we function and fit into it right now, we are such an underdog. We are trampled upon. We're looked upon almost as nothing. Now, if we don't go into the past and find out how we got this way, you will think we were always this way. And if you think you were always this way, in this condition, and that you're in right now, it's impossible for you to have much confidence in yourself. You become worthless, almost nothing. But when you go back into the past to find out where you once were, then you will know you once had attained a higher level and made great achievements. Contributions to society, civilization, science, and so forth. And you know that if you once did it, you can do it again. You automatically get the incentive and inspiration and the energy necessary to duplicate what your forefathers did. So all the great accomplishments and all the wonderful things that we did at the beginning, when we find these things out, it gives us confidence. And that's kind of the next stage, or it goes into the next stage, the benefits of learning real Black history. So this is from the mission statement of another organization I work with who have this vision. I took a piece of this to kind of explain why Black history is important and the benefits of learning. It will allow the African American community to make a paradigm shift in how we see ourselves, our community, and others. It is critical that we embrace our history, not just starting with slavery, but going back to ancient African civilizations and excellent achievements that we have made in humanity and society. This will give us a new fresh sense of pride in our race, ethnicity, and culture that will give us the confidence to influence positive change in our communities in the present and dramatically reshape the future for our young. Our race will not only benefit this, but all of humanity. So with this being said, we establish Black history, we establish why Black history is important, and what the benefits of Black history are. We're going to go into Black history. I'm going to ask for some crowd participation. Hope everybody, nobody's shy. I'm not going to try to pick on anybody, but I'm going to throw some questions out there. Feel free to respond. But Queen Hatshepsut, for the woman first, lady first. Okay. Queen Hatshepsut was a queen in Egypt. She was the wife of Tutmosis. And after he died, she claimed the position of Pharaoh. Now, Pharaoh was a position before her that was only designed or designated for men. Okay? She was the first woman to take on this position. When she ruled southern, northern, and southern Egypt. And at that time, it flourished at more than any other time. When she was doing this is not a picture of Hatshepsut. Obviously, they didn't have cameras back then. She was doing some major things when you were that. So you see here, she has the beard like a man, and she's wearing a headpiece that was normally worn by the man at that time. This is an actual carving artifact. This here is Mansa Musa. Okay? Question. Who's the richest person in the world right now? Who do you know is some of the richest people in the world? Bill Gates, Warren Buffett. The Rothschilds, you hear that a lot. Rockefellers, right? So, one of the New York publications did an article researching history, right? So So they wanted to come up with who was the most wealthiest person of all time. They came up with King Mansa Musa of Mali. It's kind of located in northern Central Africa, Mali. And one of the most famous stories here in Colors is that he took a pilgrimage to Hajj. Now, Hajj is one of the 5 pillars of Islam that if you're physically and financially able, you have to make one time in your life. So he did that from Mali to Arabia. On his way, he took hundreds of camels. Now, they say the camels had between 50 to 300 pounds of gold on each camel. All the way there, he gave away his gold. In every city he stopped, he was giving gold to everybody. So much so that when he got to Egypt, he gave away so much gold that it devalued their currency and it disrupted their economy. Okay? Now, I have a term today called making it rain. That's making it rain. On the way back, my wife tells me, because she's Muslim, my wife tells me that on the way back, he had gave away so much gold that he couldn't afford the trip back home. When he got back to Egypt, he had to borrow money to get home. Now, this tells you this guy's philanthropic attitude, that he gave away all that he had. It didn't matter to him. In the end, so this article found out that he was worth $400 billion. The next closest person is Rothschild, who were 350, and then the Rockefeller, who were 340. Okay? And this is a map that they have that you normally put up in the concept. The next one, Sabinoye Tamarara. Now, he was the first shogun in Japan. Now, shogun, military commander, would be equivalent to our Secretary of Defense. He was an African American, or African, not African African. What I found even more, when you research deeper, not only was he the first shogun, he was an African, but the people that he fought were called the Ainu. Now, these people were indigenous to Japan. These people were called, were a race of black dwarfs in Japan. Now, when they say this, they say they're Aborigine. Aborigine means people that are original to that place, indigenous to that land. So these people were there before the people that we know as Japanese were today. And he helped the Japanese to fight these people off and take over the land. Hannibal Barca of Carthage. He was a famous African general. His feats are so widely known that they still study him today in military colleges all around the world. I took some excerpts off the internet. Hannibal is usually ranked among the best military tacticians. It is written that Hannibal taught the Roman the meaning of fear. It has been said for generations, Roman housekeepers would tell their children brutal tales of Hannibal when they misbehaved. I like when you tell your kid, boogeyman, you don't stop the boogeyman, don't come get you. So in fact, Hannibal became such a figure of terror that whenever disaster struck, the Roman senators would exclaim Hannibal ante portas, which means Hannibal at the gates, to express their fear or anxiety. Now this one here, I kind of thought was relevant, because the Pope is stepping down on the 28th, and now we're saying we might have the first lady Pope. We might have the first Hispanic Pope. We might have the first African Pope. Well, if we look back, we've already had an African Pope. Actually, we've had 3 of them. The first one was named Saint Victor. The next one was Saint Militaris, and then the third one was named Saint Gelasius. So this may be the first present-day black Pope, but we've had 3 already. Black presidents. Now, when I looked this up, I was originally looking for presidents they say that were black African before George Washington. But this came up, so I thought it was interesting. Now, I can't substantiate the claim for this, but I thought this was something I could throw out there that would make people curious, that they could go research on their own and get information that they might be able to take a look and come back and share something with me. These are the 6 black presidents, or 6 presidents that they say were at least half black. Only one of them was about a quarter. All of the other ones are claimed to be half black. John Hanson, Thomas Jefferson, Andrew Jackson, Abraham Lincoln, Warren Harding, Calvin Coolidge, and Dwight D. Eisenhower. Now this here is Abdul Rahman. Abdul Rahman is from Timbuktu, which is the same place Mansa Musa is from, Mali, country of Mali. Timbuktu is was known to have the oldest university in the world. It was established back in the 12th century. They said at one time it had 25,000 students, or the population of the city it was in was only 100,000. People came from all corners of the world to study this information with excellence in knowledge and trade. And they say on graduation day, the students were given turbans. Now the turbans symbolize divine light, wisdom, knowledge, and excellent moral conduct. Now Abdul Rahman was from this place. When the slavers came to Africa, they came to this area, they captured him and brought him here when he was 26. It said in a documentary called The Prince Among Slaves that Abdul Rahman controlled an army that was larger than George Washington's during the time of the Revolutionary War. Now this is before he was 26 and 10 years. That had to be before that. So when he was even that group, he controlled an army that large. And it was said that he spoke over 7 languages. The Haitian slave rebellion. Now we know about Nat Turner and the slave rebellions here, but the Haitian slave rebellion has a special place in history. Number one, it's the only place where slaves rebelled, and the place where they rebelled became their sovereign land. They ran the people off and took control of the land. It's the only place that slave rebellion took place that ever happened. Second, is because of the slave rebellion in Haiti that the United States is what it is today. Explain this. I will. During the time, Napoleon Bonaparte was the ruler in France. He was fighting the slaves in Haiti. And because the slaves were doing such damage, he had to sell the Louisiana Territory to the United States because he needed money to fund the war to fight the Haitians. So this is how we were able to expand and do some of the things we did and become the country that we are today. Now this one here is one of my favorite, Black Wall Street. This is Tulsa, Oklahoma. I don't know if you heard of the Tulsa, Oklahoma riots that took place back in 1921. But before that, we have a black city, town, that were able to produce these things. 600 businesses, 21 churches, 21 restaurants, 30 grocery stores, 2 movie theaters, 6 private airplanes. In 1921, 6 private airplanes. That's a feat today, let alone back then. 1 hospital, 1 bank, and it had its own school system. It wasn't controlled by everybody else. They taught what they wanted to teach them. This city thrived. They said that black people in this city supported their own, and the money circulated 17 times before it left the community. So from business to business, to company to company. Now, when we speak of black history, usually we just speak about slavery or civil rights. Now, we know civil rights took place between 1950 and 1960s, on up until now. Some of the people that they don't mention that had significant contributions to the African American community that allowed us to develop our self-esteem, our self-concept, self-image. I'm going to mention a few of those tonight to you. Noble Drew Ali is the founder of the Moore Science Temple. Marcus Garfield, Honorable Marcus Garfield, who is the founder of the UNIA, the African Community League. Master Farad Muhammad, who is the founder of the Nation of Islam. We'll talk with Honorable Elijah Muhammad. You see this number 1 pupil next to him there at Malcolm. And then we have Clarence 13X, who is the founder of the Nation of Gods and Earths. Now, these people, all their ideologies were controversial. But it's not about the ideologies, what they were able to develop in black people to make us confident in ourselves to go out and be able to do the things that we've been able to do and be the people that we're able to become. Next. Henry T. Sampson. Now, we all have cell phones, we stay in touch, text message, Skype, Facebook, all these things. Henry T. Sampson, here, it says, why do our children know more about everyone above that is holding a cell phone, but nothing about Henry T. Sampson who invented cell phone technology? Now, this year, I think it's Kanye, Usher, Nicki Minaj, Tiger, Jordan, and Beyonce. Now, Henry T. Sampson, he's real accomplished, and I was really impressed. I don't think I put him down here, but he has a ton of degrees. But what he did, he invented this technology that allows cell phones to be possible. So without him, we wouldn't be able to do the things that we do today. And then last but not least, we have Dr. Philip Emeagwali. Now, Philip Emeagwali is said to have created the fastest computer. It was made out of 65,000 processors. It was said to be able to make 3.1 billion calculations per second. He is also known as the father of the internet. Now, this is controversial. Some people dispute that claim, but they're saying undoubtedly things that he was able to do that wouldn't be in the internet. Now that's all I have as far as the facts and knowledge, but I did want to tell you the main part is I just wanted to pique your curiosity. For those who want to know more, know that there is a rich tradition and history in our culture and our long legacy that's been placed before us. For you young people, we expect for you to add on to this culture, and as adults, we should be able to provide resources and do things to help them to do that. And I'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. If not, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much. Peace.